Hello and welcome to Jamie TV. Welcome to part 2 of the Cubasis 3, what did I call it? Workshop 2. Thank you very much for being here. Hello Samuel, hello Gerald in the chat. I really appreciate you joining me. Just let me know, is the microphone level a bit better this week? Because I think it was Vortex last week said it was a little bit quiet compared to the music. So is the music volume and my microphone volume okay? Just let me know in the chat. Sound is good. Thank you, Gerald. One thing I have noticed, I've been watching a few of my streams back because I'm constantly trying to improve things. I need a better microphone for this particular job. Hey, Skies Watcher, thank you for being here. Yeah, I need a better one of these, but at the moment, this is the best thing I have for this job, so it'll have to do for now. Maybe some company somewhere would like to send me one, and I could like demo it, you know? We'll see. Anyway, right, I have sheets of paper. Hey, Paul, thank you for being here. Is that popping I'm getting? And I do have a pop shield. However, it's huge, and on this mic stand, I'll not bother attaching it to demonstrate, but when I attach it, it's like it just constantly goes south. So, you know. All right. Thanks, Samuel. Okay. Hey, Josh. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Thanks, man. I'll look that up. Thanks, buddy. Samuel, I just want to say to you that I noticed in a live stream recently, not one of mine, somebody said to you that you were something about you were contributing too much in the chat, which I find a bit silly because Samuel is full of useful information. He is a manual reader, unlike me, and he's a factoid rememberer, and everything he has to say in the chats is really, really useful. So don't get annoyed with him. Listen to him. He knows what he's on about. He knows more than me. In fact, Sam should be doing this job, not me. Hey, Joe. Hi, Lee Pop. Thank you for being here. Okay, so in last week's stream, workshop number 1, I had some codes to give away. And so I put them all in a hat, and my little boy has drawn 3 out. So, see if I can reach that without twatting that camera. They're written on a piece of paper. Okay, so the 3 winners are Skies Watcher, David Collette, and Lee Pop. Now, if you kind of gutted that you didn't win, then my apologies. I'm going to continue doing these streams. You never know, maybe Steinberg might send me some more, you know. I can kind of hint, and we'll see. But congratulations to the winners. Thank you very, very much for taking part. What I need you to do is to email me directly so I can send you your code. So down under the video, you'll find all the information about me, you know, about how fascinating I am, where you can buy my merch, check out my Patreon, you know, listen to my music, all that stuff. And you'll find down there is my email address. Email me and I'll send you a code. Right. Okay. So that's that bit done. Now, where's my list of things I need to talk about? Right. Okay. Let's do this. There's so many things to talk about. And like I said last week, there's no way I'm going to get through everything in one stream. This is going to be a series of streams, and I hope that you can be patient with me. If you've asked me a question, if you want me to address something, I will do. I promise. If you've asked me, I will get to it. Just be patient and I'll get there. And if you ask me something I don't know, if I don't know the answer, I will find out for you. And if you approach me with something that you'd like to see developed in Cubasis 3, then I will be reporting that to Steinberg. So it's well worth doing that. And any bugs, anything that you think is a flaw, let me know. I can deal with that too. Yeah, congratulations, Skies Watcher and David Collette and Leapop, which I think I'm saying right. I think that's how I said it last time, and I think he said I got it nearly right. So anyway, right, let's crack on. Subject number 1, update. Quite a few people have asked me, when is there an update coming? Now, the way that Steinberg work in relation to Cubasis 3 is they work on it and they work on it. And when an update comes, it's a big update. And you might be a long time waiting for an update. But when it comes, it's usually well worth it. You usually get a lot of fixes and some new features. The last one in particular was massive. So I don't know when it's coming. Steinberg, they don't let on. I think they're very sensible with it, really. They work on it until it's ready. They don't tease, they don't set a date, they don't let you know what's happening next. Not even like people like me who are actually promoting their stuff and in contact with them from time to time. So you just wait, and then all of a sudden it appears in the App Store, and you update and you get a bunch of new stuff. So I don't know is the answer. Right, now one chap said to me that he found the interface a little jumpy when inputting or editing MIDI. Let me just address that. I'm just going to go to this view, okay? And we'll go, I'll just put my papers over there. Right, now. And what do I need to press? That's okay, right. Okay, so if I just double click, this, by the way, this project is what I was using as an example at the end of last stream. I've just copied some of it across and added a couple more nice chords in. That's it. So I'll double click on here. Right. So what he means is, and I'm really sorry, I forgot to make a note of the name, which I really intended to do. If I go to select, and if I press on a note, and then I'm trying to move that note, that's what he means. Right. Now I've still got my finger on that note, right? And if I now press undo, it goes back to exactly where it was before. Right, so point is, you put your finger on the note, you're trying to move it, you just want to move it maybe by 1 little degree, and suddenly it shoots across the screen. Now this doesn't really happen to me very much now, but it did used to. And it does happen to me when I'm using other digital audio workstations. I think personally that when you work with it for a while, it happens less and less. It's just about getting used to this particular door and how far you move it, what little tiny increments do the job. I honestly think that's all there is to it. I don't think there's a bug there personally. If anyone disagrees with me, please do let me know. Say what you think. I can take it, I promise. What's Joe saying? Doug is not streaming tonight. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for letting me know, Joe. But I have a guitar lesson coming at 8 o'clock, so I have to finish by 8 anyway, but otherwise I would have just run, I suppose. What's Samuel saying? You like the tools on the left side, hold finger on the tool and swipe the screen to modify the selected note. Yes, Sam, I'm coming to that. Yeah, Sam's exactly correct. What my point about this is, when you move the note, for as long as you have your finger on it, that's one movement. So if it kind of, if you make an arse of it and you shoot up 3 octaves and that's not where you wanted it, press undo. It'll go back to where you were. Have another go. Do not apologize, Sam. That's what I'm saying. Your input in these streams is invaluable to me. And actually, quite a few times, I haven't known a certain little factoid about an app that I've been asked in the stream, and Sam has known. So, never apologize, Sam. Evening, Saber. Thank you for being here. Why is it not so good an evening? Right, so here's a little workaround if you do find that a little awkward. Let me just use my mouse for accuracy of pointing. There we are. Right, now if we come down here, you'll see we have some little buttons we can press, right? Now let's say if I want to move this note up and down, up or down, but I don't want it to move left or right, I can press on there, hold it in, and while I hold it in, it's only going to move up or down. I can't move it left and right. Right, I've still got my finger on this note. I've made an arse of it. I press undo, and there we are. It's back to where I started. Right, and the same goes for this X movement here. Just moves left and right. I can't move it up and down. Okay, now length I actually never use, but what happens sometimes is, and when I say I never use it, it's not that it's useless or anything, or in fact not that I'm useless. Well, I suppose it is. I just forget that it's there. What happens sometimes is, you've got to remember, we're dealing with a very small screen, a very small interface. Sometimes what you might want to do is move a note. Other times what you want to do is lengthen a note, which you can do, or shorten a note, which you can do by pressing on it on the right hand side where you see those 2 little, I suppose they're arrows really. Yeah, that is, because the direction, yeah, they're arrows. Stupid hippie. Undo that. Right. Okay, now, sometimes you're pressing on the note to do one of the jobs, and it accidentally does the other, because you've not got your finger in quite the right place. Now, I've got tiny little girl hands. My 13-year-old girl, Layla, her hands are as big as mine now. My hands are pathetic, especially for a bass player. But so I don't have that much difficulty with it. But imagine you've got really big hands. This could be an issue. So press on length. And now length is definitely what it's going to adjust. Okay? Thank you for mentioning that, Sam. All right. Okay. The weather affects your mood, Sam. Yes. Mine too. And in fact, it's extraordinarily hot in here because I've accidentally left the heating on in here for ages. So, have a listen to my track for 2 seconds while I just switch off the heating. Right, let's just read a bit of the chat. I'm very, very sorry to read that, Saber. You know, what I always say to people, it's never something to be embarrassed or ashamed about. If you are feeling down, if you are ever feeling down in any way, then tell someone. Always talk about it. There's always going to be someone you can talk to. And you know what? I know quite a few people who do get down, who do suffer in this way, and don't feel comfortable talking to people that they know. But, we have a fantastic online community of iOS people. And I've actually talked to a few people in the iOS community who have felt that way, particularly through lockdown, and been a kind of, just a sounding board, just someone to listen, just someone to be there, Jim, I haven't messaged you yet about Reflector. My apologies. What I need you to do, go underneath this video where you'll find my email address, send me an email, and I will reply. What's that? I'm inventing words now. I'll reply to you about Reflector. Promise. Right. Okay, so that's the jumpy interface thing dealt with. Right, now, template. Someone asked me in the chat last week, and I didn't have time to deal with it, about creating a template. Let's go to media, and if we go to in your projects folder, let me just grab my mouse, right? In your projects folder, you'll see here we have the demos that Cubasis comes with in this folder at the top. Next folder down, we've got a folder with some templates in it, which Steinberg provide. And these are they're supposed to be like good starting points for you to begin a project. So let's click on one: electric, piano, and vocal. Right, now immediately it gives you a chance to rename it, because that template is going to stay in that folder exactly as it is. You're creating a new project from that template. So I'm just going to add a workshop to this title and go OK. Right, so now it's going to open me a template project. Right, so what it's given me is it's given me a piano track, and that's already armed. I know you're blown away by my piano playing. I know I'm embarrassed about how good I am, and and it's given me a track for. I've got a hold of the wrong mouse. There's no way. No wonder it's not doing anything. Oh, it's all going pear-shaped now. Right. So we've got a track for a female vocal and one for a male vocal, and they've already got some insert and send effects on them that might be appropriate. So this is, just to kind of help you get started. Maybe you've just bought Cubasis 3, and these are going to kind of give you a nice sort of a kickoff point, right? So somebody asked me about creating your own template. Now, if I'm honest, I don't tend to do that. I have done, but what I tend to do is, let's say if I've got a project. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. If I've got a project, let's say what I do quite often is I'll start a project where I've got an app like, say, Digistix, right? A drum app with multi-out, and I've got all the drums going out to different channels. And before I continue working on the project, I might think, you know what, this is actually a really good starting point for, you know, a heavy drums kind of a track. So I'll save it, and I'll just save it as a project and name it something appropriately, and that does for me. But if you want to save a template in the template folder, there is a way to do it. Now, if I approach this wisely, I can show you a couple of things. Let me think. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to right, let me do this. I'll go into the template folder and I'll go to new project, right? And I'm just going to label it A. Right. Now you'll see it has not put my new project A in the template folder in here. But now if I highlight that, I can, oh, I can't move it yet because I'm in that project. Right, okay. So let me just open a different project. You can't move, or you can't move a project that you are in. So I'm just going to click on this project called Nothing, and then I will go back to A, and now you'll see I can click on move. So I press move and I can grab that and move it to templates, and now I'll go in templates and there it is. Right, so I've got a template. I've created a template. Exciting, almost as exciting as the Book of Boba Fett. Right, yes, Cubase 11 Pro is excellent at creating templates. Fantastic, brilliant. But we're not here to talk about that, are we? Right, so now I need to show you a slight flaw here. This is something I'm going to mention to Steinberg. Let me go back to projects. Now let's say I want to create a template. Let's do it exactly like we did before. I was in templates, and well, wait a minute, pressing all the wrong buttons. Right, go into projects. There we are. Right, in templates, I'm going to create a new project just like I did before, but this time I'm going to call it Z. Right, now it's right at the bottom of the list of my many projects. Click on it. No, I have to open Nothing again first. Right, open Nothing. Okay, now go back down to Z and move. Press on it. This doesn't scroll. I can't move it to templates. So that's kind of a bit of an issue. So what you have to do is name it something early in the alphabet. You can rename it later. That's all I can suggest on that. Not, it's not like an end of the world issue, but, something that could be improved slightly. Okay, so that's how you create your own templates. Right, okay. Something else I've been asked about. Let's go back to the project I had opened at the start, which is called Cubasis Workshop. Okay, now, I did show in the last stream how to copy and paste parts across, which I did quite quickly, someone asked me a couple of things. If I press select, what I can do is I can copy more than one track at once. So I've got select activated, press, hold my finger down on the screen, drag it out. Right, now I'm going to do this wrong on purpose. Press copy. I'm going to bring my transport to there, the beginning of bar 18. So now what I want to do is copy these 4 bars to just here. But when I press paste, it creates more tracks and it puts this MIDI in the wrong place. Undo. Get rid of that. What you need to do is highlight the track or select the track highest up in the project that you are copying. And then when you do that, Cubasis 3 knows that when you paste across, you want it to be on the same tracks. And I believe Cubasis does this as well, or at least it always used to. So now if I copy and paste, and there we are. This is where I wanted it to be. Except that I don't want that. So we'll delete it off by pressing undo. Some other things. Let's have a look. Right. I had a question about this. What are these handles for? By the way, something you have to be incredibly careful with. Not just with Cubasis, with anything really on iOS, on a touchscreen platform, basically, is what have you got selected? What have you got highlighted? It's something that over time you get used to, but it is incredibly easy to delete something vital usually, because you left something selected and then you're working on a different part of the project and you go, you know what? I'm going to delete that, right? Now, if you've got select on when you do it, if you go, right, you've left that one selected and you've forgotten you've got select activated over there, you come over here, you're working on this project, and you go, you know what, I'm going to drop the bass out on these few bars here. So you just press erase, and you don't realize you've erased that one too. So easily done. And I'll be honest, I still do it loads. Another thing along the same lines is, and I've talked about this in videos before, but this is just something that annoys so many people. If you've got that up there selected, right? So I like my drums to be red, right? So that section there is red. I've left that selected, and I think, you know what? Normally I make synths green, so I'm going to select this track down here. I'm going to make it green, but that's still selected. So when I go to colors and press on green, it changes that to green. And I still do this all the time. I'll be honest, it pisses me off, right? So I'm going to make that red again and then make sure I've not got anything selected. This track is now selected, and now my synth is green, right? It's Dave here. Hi Dave, thanks for joining us, dude. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody who's joined the chat. And if you're watching this later from the future, then marvelous. We still have a universe. It's not blown up yet. Thank you for being here. Right, so I was going to show... Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Now, let's say I fancy having... You know, I'm going to tell you a tip. I've said this tip a bunch of times in my videos before, but This is an incredibly useful bit of advice. It's served me well since it was first said to me, how old am I? About 30 years ago, right? Never start your project at bar 1. I've started this one at bar 2. I don't know why I did that, right? Never do that. Let's select. Let's select everything. We've got snap to bar on, so let's just bring this across to there. We'll start bar 11. We're going to leave 10 bars of nothing because, you know, you might be like well into working on your project and you're working on a new riff and you think, oh, it'd be awesome if I had this little riff right at the start before the intro. Happens loads of times. I'm going to do it now. To help me demonstrate this next bit, let's just see what this sounds like soloed. Right, okay, so that brass harp there, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it back here. Right, so these little handles have been asked to, hey Vortex, dude, thanks for being here and thank you so much. That's incredibly helpful. January is a bit of a slim time earnings wise for musicians, so thank you ever so much. Hey SLP, thanks for being here. And Audible's here. Audible was actually being really cheeky to me in the last stream. I can't remember what he said now, but when I watched the stream back, I thought, you cheeky get. And and I totally missed it. So anyway, I'll get you later. Right, so these handles around your MIDI parts here, if we just drag this down. Wait a minute. Has that camera frozen? This camera seems to be... Is that frozen? If it's died, I guess I'm just going to leave it, but I'll just have a quick look, see what's going on there. Yes, it seems to have frozen. Let me just see if I can reboot that. If I press that and that, error starting video, how dare you? I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in again. It worked last week with the keyboard. Right. Plugged it back in. It's seen the Galaxy 8. Press that button there. Do you recognize the camera? Yes. Error starting video. You absolute arse. Oh well. Oh well. I'm not going to waste the stream arsing about with the camera, so I'll try and remember to keep using my mouse as much as possible. I wish I knew how long. In fact, no, I don't want to know how long it's been not working. Right. So, do I have a dummy battery for my camera? No, I don't know. Why would I need a dummy battery? I feel like I'm asking a stupid question. What does that mean? Right, okay. So if I drag that handle there, it brings the volume of that section down. Now you have to move it quite a long way to hear a huge difference. But it's there, right? Actually, it's not even working. It's not working, is it? It's not working. I don't know why. It normally does. Let's see if the fades work. Let's try that. Okay. I'll talk about this in a moment. Oh, the fade's going to work. No, it isn't. Is it because it's an ARP? I wonder. Let's just try the same thing on a chord. Right, so we'll scrub that idea and we'll grab this chord here. Right, I'll tell you what, grab that, copy that, drag that back here. The handles only work on audio. But they're on the MIDI though, aren't they? So they should work strictly, I think. I don't know. Okay, so we'll have a chord before the track, right? Right. Let's see if this is working. What we were talking about earlier. Right, I'm just going to drag this handle in here a bit. So this is another thing that we can do. At the moment, I've got snap to bar completely off, so I can drag the beginning of this piece to exactly where I want it. If I zoom in close, you will see that this piece of MIDI actually begins before the bar line here. So if I was to snap it exactly to bar, then I would lose that chord. So I'll just bring it to here. When you move it, when you're changing the length of a MIDI part, grab the bottom left hand side. Now here's something that happens sometimes. You'll grab it and you'll accidentally move it instead of changing the length of it. So just let go, press undo, and be more accurate next time. If you keep doing it and it keeps being a problem, change your screen size slightly and it will correct. Sometimes it gets a little stuck. Right, okay, so my point was, if I grab this handle up here, this should create me a nice fade in. And what should happen, if I drag this down here, it should reduce the volume. But it ain't doing. Now maybe I'm wrong about that. I shall have to check on that. Okay, and of course we've also got a fade out at the end. Something I'll be showing you in the next stream, if I don't get time to do today, which I don't think I will, is showing you how to do master fades for the whole track. It's actually really easy to do. Okay, so now then you'll see there, look, I made a bit of a screw up because I was adjusting this here, this mouse, there we are, right, that bit there, and I had that highlighted just like I was talking about earlier, and that was a total accident. But all is not lost, because if I click on that and then drag this out, the notes are not there because, let me zoom this in so you can see, the notes are still there. Grab this one here and those notes are actually still there. Now I can press select, leave that piece there highlighted, highlight that one as well, and go up here, press blue, and that's all joined back together. Okay, right, and now Right, something I was going to talk about in the last stream that I decided not to because I didn't have time and I didn't want to not do justice to it. So I could have said that better, but you know what I mean. Right, now, AV3s and inter-app audio, connectivity, probably that's going to come up next stream now. Okay, so what we hear all the time about Cubasis 3 is people complaining that they can't finish a project. They get so far into a project, and then what they get is a whole bunch of crashes and glitches and all kinds of problems. And I'll tell you why this is. This is because for some reason on iOS, and you'll see this when you look on, if you look on, say, iOS groups on Facebook, people will do screen recordings of their projects, and they seem to, it's immediately apparent what the problem is. They want all of their AV3 and inter-app audio, instruments and effects to be open all the time and present in the project, and that is not the way to do it. People are complaining that they can't complete a project in Cubasis 3 because if they open any more AV3s, it will crash. Hey Daniel, thanks for being here. No punishments for being late. I appreciate you joining us. That's not the way to do things. The aim is to get things baked down to audio. Until you have baked a track down to audio, the AV3 hasn't finished doing its job. So, to give you kind of like an analogy, I think that's the right word. Imagine, right, you are going down the motorway in a Robin Reliant. You've got your foot to the floor, your oil light comes on, the car's shaking, you know you've got bare tires on the Robin, right? If you carry on, your engine's going to explode or your wheels are going to come off. You have to take note of the system info, what the DSP is saying. You have to keep an eye on it, and when you start to get high up the scale, you know, if you're heading up round about 75%, then don't open any more AV3s. The way to work is to concentrate on getting some of your arrangement to the end of the track. So let's say you think, you know, you're so far into working on a song and you've got your drums down, you've got your bass down, you still got the rest of your instruments to work on. Finish your arrangement for the song with the bass and drums, and then get your AV3s, get your plugins, if you like, your effects, everything set how you want them. Freeze it, save some DSP, and then move on to another instrument. What you want is, if your track needs to have 20 tracks in it, you want 20 tracks of audio. You don't want several tracks of audio and then a whole bunch of tracks with AV3s and effects and stuff still on there. Get it baked down to real audio. When every track is real audio, then you're ready to mix, right? Now, if you are working with a top producer who's mixing your track, they will not mix it down with any plugins still open. Because if you do it that way, then you're asking your iPad or your computer or whatever to process an incredible amount of information at the same time. So if you spent an hour getting the perfect sound on your vocal, then when you mix it down in that way, those plugins that you've used may not behave exactly the way you set them. So bake it down before, listen to it back, make sure it's exactly the way you want it. Then it's ready for your mix and you've saved processing power. And that's the way to work in Cubasis 3. So what I'm saying is that people are expecting too much. Now, it's not necessarily, I'm not saying that the app is flawless, far from it, but iOS music is very, very new. And we have a long way to go to catch up with desktop stuff. But, you know, everything has its limitations. Looking at my iPad, right? My iPad is a 6th gen, so it's 1 gig. It's 4 years old. It's a basic iPad, but I complete full projects with 40, 50 tracks because that's the process that I use. To me, it's as if people they're like really proud of the AV3s and they want to keep them open in there, but I get that, but that's not the way to do it. I know that when you're working in, say, AUM, you could have a lot more things open, but you look at Cubasis 3 and everything that it has in it. AUM's just not like that. It's like a bare bones app. It just connects things together. So it's bound to be able to handle more things. But if you want a linear DAW, I think Cubasis 3 is the premier thing on iOS. So take my advice or ignore it, but I think that's what people are doing wrong. They're just expecting too much of the platform. So let's see, what else have we got that we need to have a look at? I have, 10 minutes left. Not even quite that. Okay. Right, yeah, something that we really should talk about is inter-app audio is depleting. So anybody who's watching who doesn't know exactly what I'm talking about, if you are, let's just go down here, we'll go and add a MIDI track and click on instrument and just back out of that menu. Right, now when we want to add an instrument, we can add, just a moment. Jim says it's really hard to screen record on Cubasis in iOS because the cog help shop functions block the way. Well, what I do, Jim, is let me just see if I can. Do you mean for if you're trying to drag down from the top of the screen? I get you. Right, I don't do that. Does Cubasis have background audio that you need to activate? Sam, does Cubasis have a background audio button? I would have presumed it does, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Okay. Maybe that's a point. It's in audio settings. Background audio. Thank you, Vortex. You're right. You got there before Sam. Vortex is quick off the draw today. Right. Background audio. Make sure you've got that activated, right? Because then when you've got... yeah, I did, didn't I, Sam? I probably went past it several times. Sorry. Stupid hippie. Right. So if you've got background audio activated in an app, this means that you should be able to come out of it and do something else and come back to it without making it crash. So this is what I do. I just press home button and I drag down here and I press my screen record button here, say recording, wait while it does its little countdown thing, come back out of it and carry on. I just do it that way, Jim. Okay, so what was I talking about? Right, yes, interrupt audio. So the difference is when I'm pressing the wrong thing here. Right, I'm back out of here. So I can choose an audio unit, or I can choose interrupt audio. Right, now the difference is interrupt audio is not going to be hosted inside of Cubasis. It's going to be connected to Cubasis, and in the next stream I'm going to do a load of stuff about different kinds of connections, connecting apps from outside like AUM, and sending MIDI out to a synth and recording it back in, all that kind of stuff. But what we do when we open an interrupt, let me just find KQ Dixie. There it is. Right, now KQ Dixie is not AUV3. I have to open it as interrupt audio. It's now connected to Cubasis, but it's not hosted inside of. So there's no way it's ever going to be as stable as AUV3. And you'll see here, look, I've got a little mouse. I've got a little Cubasis button to go back to Cubasis. And so this is all we see inside of Cubasis, just to show you that it's connected. So if I arm that track, even better piano playing than the last time, Sam. Right, so it's connected, and I can send MIDI to it, and I can freeze it and use it very much the same as an AV3. It's just not ever going to be stable. Interrupt audio is the old way of connecting apps together. AV3 is the new way. So if I had opened an AV3, I'm just going to come out here, close KQ Dixie. If I'd opened an AV3, then I would have an app that would be hosted inside. Why am I scrolling through picking an app? It really doesn't matter what I pick. I'm probably not even going to play a note with it. DRC, because I love it. You know, I think it might have frozen. Might be. Yeah, I think it's frozen. It's got tit on with me. Oh, no, it's come back to life. Yeah? See, sometimes you just need to wait. Right, I'm in the interrupt audio menu. That maybe. Why am I in that? Okay, I don't know what's. Yeah, it's got a face on some. Okay, so I'll just talk about it while it just gets his head around it. Maybe it's got something to do with the interrupt audio connectivity. Now, interrupt audio is being depleted. It is going away gradually. We don't know how long it's still going to be around for. When it disappears, it means that some apps aren't going to be usable anymore, which is a real shame, but it is on its way out. But it is the old way. Hopefully some of those apps that are only interrupt audio right now will get updated. Here's the information I need to give to you, and I've been interrupt audio is depreciated, not depleted, but still functional. And often the only way to host AV3 is because an AU cannot host. I used the wrong word. My apologies, Audible. Okay, so okay, we seem to be working all right now. So the thing that you need to know about interrupt audio apps is if you have installed the latest iOS, which is currently iOS 15, which I've not been brave enough to move to yet, and you want to use an app as Interapp Audio, then open it standalone first, then open it in Cubasis or whatever host you're wanting to use, because otherwise now it won't connect. I can't show you because I'm not going to iOS 15 yet. I would not recommend getting the latest iOS until you've kind of given a chance for everyone else to do it and let you know whether it works or not. Because if it breaks something that you need, there's no going back. Okay, right, so I've crossed a lot of things off my list today. Still an awful lot to go at. So thank you, everybody who's been here, everyone who's watched, and everyone who took part in the competition. Sorry to those of you who tried but didn't win. Hopefully I'll get some more codes, and maybe in the next stream I'll have some more to offer. We'll see. Alright, so if you have questions about Cubasis, put them in the chat, put them in the comments below the video, email me directly, contact me on social media, wherever. I'll add anything new to the list. I'll report anything to Steinberg that you'd like me to. And yeah, please join me tomorrow for another iOS stream. I don't know what it's about yet. I've not completely planned it yet. And next Monday, same time, there will be more Cubasis workshop. So thank you for being here. Take care of yourselves. Make lots of music. Check out all the information under my video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribed. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Wrong mouse. That one. See you later. Bye-bye.